Saturday, August 19th, 2023. If you're wondering if this has a point or if it's going to be interesting, I don't know. I don't really have that much to talk about. Nothing in the way of news or anything exciting. Um, but anyway, this could take a while. Anyway, um, just I needed to hear myself talk. And I wasn't planning on going anywhere today. I'm just kind of in, and it might, it's a Saturday, and you know, people do things on the weekends. That's their chance to do whatever they like and cut loose from work or something, and go out and have fun and be social and meet with friends and things. I don't do that. I remember there was a time that was part of my life, but it was never quite like how it is for other people. I imagine. I can only imagine and pretend and imitate, because I think that that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I don't know if I was ever good at it or if I really liked it all that much. I think I did. Um, I think I didn't know how to be alone with myself as well and understand that that was okay. I thought I had to do what other people were doing to be happy, because I knew nothing about, you know, who I was. I was just trying to be like other people. So I didn't feel like so much like an outsider and an outcast all the time, which, I just kind of always just felt and didn't know how to do anything different. Turns out it's like there was never going to have been anything. There was nothing I could have learned. No one could have said anything that would have taught me, you know, how to be myself and be okay with it at that time. And part of that, just that lack of knowledge and awareness, um, and diagnosis, as it turns out, um, kind of propelled me and set me down a path. Maybe I would have been on it eventually anyway, but you know, into dangerous waters, which involved for me, prolonged, substantial uh, period of substance abuse, alcohol dependence, and luckily for me, alcohol was my drug of choice. That was the only one I seemed to require or desire, and I never got involved in anything else. Um, Tried a couple things, nothing serious. Though everything's kind of, depends on this and that, can be extremely serious depending on the context. But that's not how the story went, and that's not how this story goes. And but primarily, it was, alcohol, and it didn't ruin my life. It certainly did change it, though. That's what I like to say. It's not a silver lining. It's just the truth, and not being scared of the truth, and not being scared to share it, and not being scared to then have to worry over what other people might think, because people are going to do that anyway, and I don't have any say over that. And keeping things to myself and like the truth about what I've been through and who I am and what I'm doing and things like that, it doesn't help me. It only hurts me, because eventually people will find out, because I'll tell them. And I just think it's just better and easier just have that be just out in the open, up front. And then I don't have to worry. And people that already would have had a problem with it will find, their way away. And it might be just too much to handle, or they don't understand, or they have their own personal history that makes knowing me difficult in some way. And I have felt at many times that people like me at first, and then they get to know me a little bit, and I can be uh, a little bit clingy and attached and overwhelming at times, but at the same time withdrawn and distant and aloof and hard to read, difficult to predict. Or maybe it's that's quite predictable. I really can't say. I am me. I don't know what anybody else's impression of me is based on who they are. I'll never know. I just know that for a while there's some communication, and then that communication kind of changes, and then it's a matter of, it feels like the other person is just, they're done. They're just all done. They've heard enough, seen enough, read enough, and it's like, however it is I am, this is it. It's like I've actually gotten a lot better at toning down some of my less admirable qualities, as far as, the ones that I know about and actively work on. Some of them I just kind of let go because I don't really, it's like, I'm the one who lives with me all the time. So it's like, I'm the only one exposed. So if it's not enough for me to want to change it, then, I like to think that I can if I applied myself, but sometimes I'm not even aware of, it's like I don't know what I don't know. And that's not a hopeless statement. I don't think so. It's just admitting my limits of awareness, limits of perception, limits of sensitivity and consideration. Because believe it or not, I think about the world in terms of myself and how things affect me. I am much more aware of things that directly influence and affect my own situation and people around me than situations that have nothing, that I'm not aware of. Like, there's, examples, like if it's happening in on a different continent or a different country, or, my lack of knowledge of it, it's not going to change it. I don't have any say over it, and if I find out about it, it's like, I don't know, what does my knowledge of it do? So, I don't know. I can work on things in my local area, and but more than that, it's like I have difficulty understanding and dividing my attention between too many things. It's like I can do a few things pretty well, but I can't do 1,000 things at the same time. So, I don't know. I try to take up some campaigns and causes and crusades and make better decisions in my own life. But I really have difficulty trying to change public opinion or influence other people's decisions, because they usually are already pretty set and not interested in entertaining concepts they don't already lean into believing. Some people, as soon as you start talking about something that they don't want to hear or would require action or change, they are automatically in defense mode and under threat or attack, as though they are somehow wrong and they need to now defend themselves, or they don't want to change. And it's just easier to deny and disbelieve and then attack and retaliate, than to, investigate as though it's like, oh, I don't know. But that's not really anything what I had to do to talk about. I guess not, but I went there anyway. But it's well into the video, and I'm guessing no one's watching by this point. So anyway, yeah. So I did want to show, if I can figure out how to do this. There it goes. Ooh. Now if I can just remember how to swipe. Okay. So this is the tree looking up at it. I just took a picture before I started recording, and that's what it looks like. That's how much of a canopy is above me. And that's what the base of the tree looks like. I've got a little, I'm sorry for the reflections and the light, but it's moss and different grasses and rocks and a little cat figurine with a crystal ball. And then there is the companion tree next door. Again, can't really see it, but moss and grass at the base and some rocks. So, yeah, and that's what's on the desk behind the laptop. So, that's what that looks like. So, anyway, I guess the point, if there is a point, is there ever a point? There doesn't have to be a point, and none of it has to make sense for it to be just so. I think a lot of people struggle with finding the meaning and purpose behind everything, looking for clues. I do the same thing. But looking for patterns, but there aren't always. There's like I think it's a matter of wanting it. People want to believe that there's something more going on that gives things meaning. And a lot of it just comes back to human nature and emotion of wanting to feel alive and wanting to feel relevant, and that this life is more than what it sometimes is. It can be a struggle, and it can be an exercise in drudgery and toil and labor without any sight of reprieve. Or it could be misery and despair and loneliness, and misunderstanding and abject incomprehensibility. I really wanted to use the word abject in there because I don't really get to use that word very much. I'm not even really sure what it means. I think it means what I think it means. I don't know if I use it very well. But I don't know. I just know for myself that there are consequences to actions, my actions, other people's actions, all of us together, our actions. And, whether we're aware of the consequences or not doesn't mean that there aren't any. or that there won't be any. And the things we do today lead to what's going to happen tomorrow. Like, what are we investing in? What are we paying attention to? And I can only think of that in terms of myself and support activities and people that I believe in, and and pay less attention to activities and things that I don't. I guess it's what everybody else does. So anyway, there was something else I was going to talk about, but now I'm just stalling for time because I've forgotten what it is. Oh yeah, I did show off in a recent video the snow leopard, or it's a white leopard, I think, that I got as a Christmas or birthday gift for my only nephew, my brother's son. And I mentioned it just in passing that I was thinking about either shipping it or hand delivering it, because I mentioned in the text message, because we don't really talk on the phone anymore. Not that we ever did very much. But I definitely will not be making a trip to West Virginia again this fall. I've been there enough recently. Maybe I'll go another time, but I haven't been up to where I used to live in about 3 years. Well, I guess it was January. It was late January, early February of 2020. No, 2021. Because though it was there that I started making videos. That's where proof of concept was recorded. In the mirror, sideways. It was in a hotel room up there. I don't remember the room number, but it was on the 3rd floor. I remember where the room was. Yeah. I think it was the 2nd or 3rd door on the left if you come off the elevator. And yeah. So I mentioned it, and I seemed welcome to, sounded like that would be an acceptable idea. That it won't be like a bad time, or there'll be other things going on. And I'll look forward to it because, it'll give me different locations to record in, and different things to talk about, and brand new stories. And who knows? A lot of things have changed for me since I left there 7 years ago. I still have property up there. And but it'll be nice to take the trip, get out of this town for a little while, and visit one of the last living family members that I have much communication with anymore. That's it. Just my brother. My dad's still around, but I don't really talk to him hardly ever unless it's that time of the year. And I'm not really motivated to, we've never been that close. And it's just kind of sad, but that's how it is. And as far as how I was talking about at the beginning about it being like the weekend and, going out and socializing and that sort of stuff. Just returning to that really quick. Yeah, I could. But I don't really know how to meet people. And I never have. And it's like, who would I meet? And I'd be meeting groups of people. And it would just be strange environments, and they'd be loud. And a lot of places, where I would think people would go on a Friday or say, they'd be serving alcohol. And it'd be a strange place for me, and possibly critically threatening, because I might be okay and I haven't had a drink in over 7 years, but I shouldn't make it a habit of being around a place where alcohol is being served, just because I could have a really bad day, or something terribly wrong could happen, or I could meet somebody and I don't know, I don't want to be rude, or I don't know, get put into a peer pressure situation or something. And if I'm not around it, I don't have to worry about it. But if I am around it, or make it a habit of being around it, something could go and be, and it's like, I've learned enough and heard enough from other people's stories who have been in recovery from addiction and alcohol abuse and dependence, that it sneaks up on you, is what they've said. That they think that they've learned, or they think that have things. It's like, then they decide for whatever reason to have that first drink. And they like it so much that they decide to have another first drink. And they'll monitor it and take care of it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. And then they end up going back to full-blown return to their previous behavior, whatever it was for them. And it's like, no, it took me a long time to get to now. And it's like, I don't want to do any of that again. It's like, I used to smoke cigarettes too. And I've been quit from smoking cigarettes for 4 years. That one I actually chose. My quit date on that is September 28th, 2019. And I got started quitting right before the pandemic. A couple months before it actually started, the whispers of the pandemic began. And I stayed quit, because I had already put in a few months by then. And it's like, I didn't want to have to, it's like, I don't want to have to quit again. So it's like, just don't have, because I can't have just one drink, and I can't have just one cigarette. Not even for old time's sake, because I don't know, I just don't trust myself. And it's like, that's probably a good thing. And it's probably not good to tempt fate or press my luck any longer. It's like I have to, accept mortality and have a better life for it. So I don't need to find myself going out on Friday and Saturday nights to, and I've never been good at those sorts of situations either. And looking for a lonely person or something and trying to talk and have a conversation, I don't know. That's never been my thing. I'm not that confident, and it's like, and again, I don't know who I'd meet. It could be somebody great. Could be somebody not so great. And I don't know. I guess I'm okay at this time. That, I'm okay with how my life is well enough that I don't seek to change it that much, I suppose. But now, getting back to paths, Alcohol did not ruin my life, but it changed it. And I don't think that I would, well, who knows what could have happened or would have happened if this or that or the other. But I don't think that wherever I would have ended up, I don't think I would have appreciated life the same. That goes without saying, of course. I would have appreciated life differently. But the way I used to be and the way I used to think, I don't think that person was capable. I think they were just in some sort of artificial reality of their own making, and they had no idea. And they were just forcing themselves along according to some script that others had written, and just felt obliged to continue. And they'd only found some sort of freedom through drinking and some sort of permission to just not have to pay attention to all the other things that everybody else is so focused on. It seemed to think was so important. It's like, well, that was an excuse to not have to live up to social expectations. I could just drink, and then everybody would just, well, he's just, he can't. But now as a sober individual, I can do a lot more. And I also have grown strong enough that I still do not have to give in to social expectations. I can, but I choose not to. Because if I start giving into all the expectations of everyone around me, that'll never stop. And people will just keep expecting me to keep up those appearances. And I just can't. I don't have the interest or attention to bother. So it's like for a few people, for very few people, I will, try and give attention and, all those sorts of things. But everybody else, just the general populace, it's like my diplomacy is about a lot of it, the best I have, and I just mostly am quiet anyway. So, but this is the path that I'm on. I can't describe it very well, but I think I've helped more than I've hurt people around me that I've come across. Because I'm not the only one in recovery, and I'm not the only one trying to make a go of it, from having come back to life from some other life that was ending. So I can't really teach anybody very well how they can find their own answers, but I can just share with them how I found answers that work for me. And hopefully from that, just them knowing that it is possible, it's other people are working on it, that they find some courage to continue and to try to find whatever answers they need to find for themselves. Because I don't know what other people's answers are, because I don't know what their questions are, and I don't know what they need. I don't know what I need, but I dare to stay and keep looking. Because even if I don't find any answers, and I doubt I don't know if I'll ever find any answers, but as far as reasons, I find reason enough. And I have to call it good. Well, I don't have to, but I let it be good.